Hello occultists. If you don't already know who I am Ivy the Occultist here on YouTube and on Instagram. And today I just kind of wanted to get on my camera and do a mental download. I kind of want to start a new series. It's a little bit more chatty, so definitely feel free to get your tea, your coffee, whatever you like to drink, and let's just hang out together, talk about spell work. I think I'm going to start this new series called Let's Talk Spellwork, and in this series I'm just going to sit down and download a bunch of ideas and information that pertain to spell work. So today I kind of wanted to talk about locations and events in spell work, and this pertains to energy hubs, dirt magic. What was the other thing I wanted to talk about? Maybe liminal spaces. So this video is not going to be structured like my other videos. I am just going to kind of word vomit all my thoughts and feelings about this, and my hope with this new series of Let's Talk Spellcraft or Let's Talk Spellwork, I don't even know what I'm calling it yet. I'm just gonna record this video, put a title on it, and let you guys see that when it comes live. But my hope for this new series is that you're able to gain some insight or inspiration for your magical practice, whether that's witchcraft, whether you practice chaos magic, whatever it may be. I'm hoping that in these videos you're able to find just like little golden nuggets of information. Maybe that's the hope. If anything, just come hang out with me and we'll just talk about spell work. So that's kind of what we're going to be discussing today, and again, it's going to be super informal and chatty, so let's just hang out. But first, I'd like to do a quick patron shout out. So I know some of you know that I recently just started a patron for this YouTube channel, a patronage, a membership. I don't even know what it's called. It's not on Patreon, it's actually here on YouTube. So I will link it down below in the description box if you're interested in becoming a patron. I really appreciate all the support. Most of you know that I'm in college, and you know, college tuition is expensive. So I appreciate all of the support given for this YouTube channel. It goes straight towards paying off my massive student loan debts. So let's do a quick patron shout out. Thank you so much to Andrea, Kelly, Angela, Amy, Hellhound J, Helena, Donna, Rebecca, Emily, Jessica, Mika, Scotty, Renesha, Q, and Charles. So let's get into it. Let's talk about energy. What are we talking about first? I kind of want to talk about energy hubs first, but I think we need to define energy hub versus energy vortex because they are two different things. So let's start there. So what the hell do I mean when I'm saying energy hub? Because a lot of people are like, what is that? What's happening? So an energy vortex, let's define that first. An energy vortex is a site somewhere on the map of the globe that has some sort of insane amount of spiritual energy. I know that's a very broad definition. At some point, I would actually love to do a video on energy vortexes and ley lines. So energy vortexes fall on ley lines, and there are specific ley lines across the globe, like the Great Pyramids of Egypt are a energy vortex. And I think Stonehenge is an energy vortex as well. But there's all these really powerful sites across the globe that are just extra, metaphorically and spiritually. People report experiencing increased spiritual activity there, or just like a heightened sense of energy, or maybe it's just like a place that's incredibly healing to the soul. So those are energy vortexes, these giant, massive sites of just a ton of energy. And that's not necessarily what I'm talking about when I'm talking about energy hubs. And I think energy hubs are probably called a bunch of different things in different cultures, but what I mean by an energy hub is an event or site that is much smaller in scale. So, I mean, it's not quite as large as, you know, the Great Pyramids of Egypt or Stonehenge, but we do have all these little energy hubs around us within our communities that we can kind of tap into and take advantage of. So an energy hub is just kind of like a smaller site that still has that heightened sense of energy that you can use in your spell work. And so an example of this, I had posted on my Instagram that I recently went to a Hai Lung concert, which was amazing, by the way. They were so good in concert. A 10 out of 10 would recommend them. I love Hai Lung and Wardruna for my ritual music. So if you don't know those two bands, definitely go check them out. Just some awesome ritual music. But anyways, so the reason why I kind of came up with the idea of this whole video is because I had posted on Instagram that I went to this concert and I actually did magic in the audience. I used used the energy of the audience and of the performers to fuel my spell work. And there were actually a lot of people that were reaching out to me asking questions on this process, or they had just maybe never heard of it before. I'm sure tons of people do it. I'm not saying that I'm a genius in thinking of this idea or whatever. I'm sure there's a ton of other people that do the same thing, but there were a lot of people inquiring about it. So I kind of wanted to talk about this further, because a concert or even a riot or a protest, these events with heightened energy, I would consider an energy hub. And you can use that energy hub to fuel your working. And so when I go to a concert, what I typically do is I'll bring like a witchy item that I want to charge, or a talisman or something, and then I will charge it as I'm dancing and chanting in the audience. And sometimes, you know, I'll even do a little chant specific, you know, like a spell specifically for the witchy item that I'm charging or creating or whatever. And that extra energy, I mean, there's so much energy when you go to a concert or when you go to these large gatherings that, like, why not take advantage of it, right? So anyways, I just wanted to talk about my process with that. So when I am going to a concert, like I did this earlier this week, what I did is I brought my talisman that I wanted to charge up, and we're gonna talk about, you know what? No, we're not gonna go into that yet. I'm gonna stick to a one-track mind right now. I have a million different things that I wanna say, but I gotta make this make sense first. So anyways, what I did is I brought my talisman to the concert and I held it in my hand. I had it on a necklace similar to this. It was a pendant wrapped around a chain, and this concert was very much a ritual. There was a lot of drumming, there was a lot of smoke cleansing. It was just the perfect scenario to do some magic in the audience. And I mean, people were getting primal. Like, you could hear people growling, and just, you could feel the energy raising, and it was, oh God, it was so good. Please go see High Lung in concert if you can. They're amazing. But anyways, as that was happening, as the energy was being raised and I was allowing myself to kind of enter an altered state of consciousness, I would say that I was probably in a light alpha brainwave state. I have a whole video on altered states of consciousness, so I'm not gonna go into that in this video, but I definitely allowed myself to slip into that altered state of consciousness and really just let things get a little hazy. And then what I did from there is I grabbed my talisman, and you can make it like as simple as you want it to be. You can simply just hang on to your talisman as you're raising energy during a concert. But if you want to be a little bit more specific, what I like to do is whisper to it. And I will whisper my desires, my intentions. Sometimes I'll memorize a whole spell beforehand. It just depends. It's nice to have things memorized, because then when you're in the moment, you don't have to work as hard. You don't have to remember, oh yeah, what was I gonna say? You just have it memorized. You're in the audience, you're allowing yourself to slip into that altered state, and you're just chanting out those incantations without even thinking about it, because you already have that stuff memorized. But then from there, what I do is I visualize almost like a key in a lock situation, a key opening the lock to my talisman, and then letting all the energy flood into that talisman, because there's so much excess energy around us in the audience that I allow this talisman to feed. I guess we could call it feeding. I don't know what else to call it, but I visualize those energies entering the talisman and allowing the talisman to feed on this really carnal, primal, and raw energy. Or you could even, if you can't chant something in the audience without looking like a weirdo, what you could do is you could stick a talisman or the witchy item that you want to charge in your pocket, and then you could just rub it with your finger, you know, rub in a clockwise direction or something if you're trying to bring something in. We all know this, right? Counterclockwise, pushing things away. Although I have heard that that's only for the northern hemisphere and not the southern hemisphere. So do what works for you in your magical practice. But you can even trace different sigils onto your witchy item during the concert. Or if you do like sigils, if you're very much into sigil witchery and chaos magic, what you can do is you could bring your sigil to the concert. And as you allow yourself to hit that altered state of consciousness with the drums and the bass beating into your heart, you can focus on that visual, that sigil, and charge it as you are raising that energy of the concert. So that's just one example of an energy hub where there is either a specific location or a specific event that just has a ton of excess energy that you want to use. But here's the thing, you also want to consider what this energy is going to do for your spell work, right? Because a concert, especially the one that I went to, was very primal and raw energy, and it was almost pure chaos. And so you have to consider, is that the type of energy that I want in my spell work? Do I want primal raw chaos in my spell work? Does that match the intention that I'm trying to achieve here? And there's a couple different things that I have personally been working with that I think that type of energy does work well for. So the first one is destruction magic. I definitely think that chaotic primal energies are excellent in any spell that is involving destructive magic, deconstructing something, tearing something down. I also think that it's great for sex magic. I don't need to explain this to you. You get the point. You can charge a witchy item, whatever item it is that you want to charge at a concert, and then use it in sex magic, like a sex magic ritual. Great results, by the way. So that is another option for you. But the third one, I don't think people would normally think of this, but I actually like to use it in astral travel. So I find that in concerts, even though it's this chaotic primal energy, it's almost making you get into this state of transcendence. You are like transcending to a different plane or a different dimension. I don't know, music sometimes just puts you in a different place. And so I find that it's really helpful for astral travel. So what I ended up doing at this concert earlier this week is I have a Vegvizir, and if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, don't come after me. I'm not the best at pronunciations, okay? But anyways, I have this Vegvizir, which is, it's a symbol, I think it's originally Icelandic. I'm not a historian, so fact check me here. But anyways, it's a symbol that's also called the Wayfinder because it essentially helps people find their way through a storm. And I think historically speaking, the Vegvizir was used on ships to help sailors or Vikings navigate the seas and make it through storms and get to where they needed to go. But for me, I use my Vegvizir for astral travel to help me find my way while I'm doing my astral trips, while I'm attempting to astral project, or sometimes if I just want to have some extra special dreams and do some dream work, I will wear it right before, I go to bed. So I like using the Vegvizir more for astral travel rather than physical travel, although I know a lot of people that use the Vegvizir for like if they're going on long road trips or something, or whatever, anything travel related. You could use it if you're gonna get on a plane flight somewhere, and it'll help you stay safe, get to where you're going. Just a great symbol to use for that. But anyways, I took my Vegvizir to the concert, charged it up there, and then I plan to use it in my astral work because I find that, and I've done this once before, it's so cool. The visions, it's just cool. So definitely try it out. It's absolutely worth it, having all the weird, crazy visions / dreams / astral trips, I don't know, but it's a phenomenal experience. So anyways, back to energy hubs. So concerts, I would definitely consider an energy hub. I would also say that, like I was mentioning in the beginning of this video, riots or protests, if you're gonna get into deconstructive magic, charging an item at a riot would be super effective, in my opinion. Or if you were able to find a peaceful protest, what a perfect environment to tap into those energies for justice. Like, not just to tear something apart chaotically, but to actually achieve justice in a particular situation. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use energy hubs. Obviously, those are just a couple different examples, but you get the point. There are certain locations and events that just have a really an excess amount of energy that you can really tap in and use in that spell work. And I kind of want to move into dirt magic a little bit now too, because I don't see people utilizing dirt in their magical practice as much as I would like to see personally, because I love dirt. But there are so many different ways that you can use just the different terrains around you. So this is more regarding locations, not necessarily events, although events I guess could technically apply. But you can collect dirt or samples of the earth from specific places that have some sort of spiritual or emotional significance to you. So let's say, for example, you are doing a money spell. I know a lot of witches will go to a bank or some sort of financial institution and collect some of the dirt from that area, from that property, and use it in their money magic, because you've got dirt, you've literally got bank dirt. I mean, everybody always talks about graveyard dirt. That's another really popular one that people use in spell work, especially for ancestral work, like when you're trying to connect to your ancestors. I talked about this a little bit in my Ancestral 101 video, but using that graveyard dirt can be really beneficial in your magical practice when you're trying to connect to ancestors, or when you're trying to do divination, or, you know, have some sort of communication. But really, graveyard dirt is the only type of dirt that I ever see talked about, you know? Like, people don't talk about bank dirt. They don't talk about other ways to use dirt. So like, for example, let's say you're trying to rekindle a relationship. Like, you and your partner are going through a rough patch in your relationship. Maybe the passion has died a little bit, or you feel like some of the love has died, and you're just trying to like rekindle that flame again, rekindle that feeling of being connected to this other human being. What you can do is you can go to a place where you and your partner felt so incredibly in love with each other. Maybe you go to the place where you had your first kiss, or maybe you go to the place where they proposed to you, or you proposed to them, or whatever the situation may be, or the day you first met. You know, there's some sort of a space that has significance to you too, I'm assuming. Most people do. And so you could go to that space and gather a little bit of dirt or terrain, you know, sand if it's a beach or whatever, and you can use that in your spell work when you are trying to rekindle that flame between the two of you. And then typically, actually, just to kind of finish this thought here, I really do like using candle magic for this. So if you have 2 candles, what I like to do is I have one candle that's representing one person, another candle representing somebody else. And so you have your tag lock, right? Which is some sort of DNA, or if you don't have their DNA, like hair, nail clippings, things like that, what you can do is you can inscribe their name on the candle and date of birth. That also works, but just something to where you are designating candle A for this person and candle B for this person. You have something that distinguishes what these candles are, who they're for, etc. And then what you do is you start them, let me set my tea down, hold on, here we go. You start them kind of far apart on like a platter. So you get a little platter, you stick the candles on the ends of it, and then you light them up. You can do a little chant here if you want to. Let it burn for maybe 10 minutes or an hour, just depending on how big these candles are. But you know, 10 minutes is fine. Focus on your intention and really raising that energy and visualizing what it is that you want to happen with this spell. And then what you do is you would use a candle snuffer and snuff the candles out. A lot of people say you should never blow out your candles, use a candle snuffer instead because it blows the magic away. That's a debatable thing, so you know, do whatever you feel like works best for you, but you would snuff the candles out, and then the next day you would move them slightly closer, and then light the candles again, visualize your intentions, do your chanting, raising your energy, whatever, and then again, let them go for about 10 minutes or up to an hour, snuff them out, and the next day, move them closer again. So that way each day you're bringing these candles closer and closer together until they are right next to each other and touching. And then you have these 2 candles here that represent the people that you were trying to reconnect and to bring together side by side towards the end of it. And then you just let the candles burn all the way down. But what I would do in that case is I would go to a place that had some sort of emotional or spiritual meaning when it comes to that relationship, and then you could take that dirt and surround the candles with that dirt. Or, you know, you could even take the dirt and draw a sigil using the dirt. So obviously, you know, you take your little dirt, you sprinkle it on the platter and create the love sigil, or the, you know, whatever the sigil is that you're trying to do there. So that's another way to incorporate dirt into your spell work in a way that's not just graveyard dirt. But really, dirt magic can be so powerful because you're bringing in all these memories and emotions that are tied to the situation. And I mean, what a better way to make spell work powerful than to invoke certain memories that make you feel a certain type of way. So yeah, bank dirt, graveyard dirt, dirt from where you had your first kiss. You know, you could also go to a beach and collect sand, and specifically sand that has some salt water in it if you are trying to invoke some of the energies of the ocean. there's so many different correlations for the ocean, but I personally, all water to me relates to emotions. Like when I see water, I think of emotions and that whole realm of our biology, I guess. But really, all water and all bodies of water have, there's so many different spiritual significances for those. Significances? Is that a word? Significance? Whatever, you know what I mean. And since we're kind of talking about locations and events in this video of spell work, of whatever I'm going to title this video, I still don't know. But I kind of wanted to talk about liminal spaces as well. And I contemplated, I think at some point I would like to do a whole separate video on liminal spaces because it's such a massive topic. But the word liminal derives from limens, I think, in Latin. Let me double check that. Yes. I was right. So it originates from the Latin word limens, which means threshold. So a liminal space is a space where you are in transition and you're kind of between the worlds. It's this sweet spot where you are transitioning to the next phase, but you haven't quite made it to the next phase yet. So you're in this double world situation happening right now. Some examples of liminal spaces can be like dawn because the sun is just about to rise, or dusk because the sun is just now setting. Another example would be a crossroads or some sort of threshold, right? Like a doorway or a stairwell. These are all different places where you're transitioning from one place to another place. And what's special about this is because liminal spaces are said to be areas where the spirit world and the physical world kind of connect and meet. So you can really do a lot of spirit work or just spell work in general in some sort of liminal space. So you've probably heard of using crossroads dirt in your magic or going to a crossroads. A crossroads is just where two roads intersect, or maybe 3 or 4, some sort of intersection where the road divides in multiple areas. That would be a crossroads. But yeah, they're great for divination, great for spell work, great for communicating with spirits because you're in this in-between stage. So definitely recommend looking into liminal spaces a little bit more if you are not familiar with that concept already. But since we're here and we're talking about dirt, I of course have to mention crossroad dirt because a crossroads is where you have multiple choices. You are looking at this crossroads going, okay, do I go right or do I go left? Which direction do I go? And there's so many different ways that you can use crossroad dirts in your magic, but crossroad dirts, whatever. This is gonna be just an unfiltered video. It is what it is. My grammar is not great in this video. But you can use crossroad dirt in let's say a road opener spell. A road opener spell is used to kind of open the road and remove obstacles from your path to get from point A to point B. So if you have like a specific goal in mind that you're really wanting to achieve, but you have all these obstacles in your way, or you just want to be preventative and make sure there's no obstacles in your way, you could do a road opener spell to kind of clear the path for you to get to whatever that goal is on the other side. So a crossroads here would be great to use for something like that. Or if you're just looking for some insight in general, maybe you're stuck making a decision on something and you really don't know what you should do from here. Should I choose A or should I choose B? Using crossroad dirt or doing some sort of magic at the crossroads can be helpful in making your decision more clear, because it may show you new possibilities or help you kind of bring new lines of thought in that really help you to finally make that decision if you've, been constantly going back and forth between 2 different options or more. But anyways, I digress. My ranting on this subject has been far too long already. I can see by the record time that this is probably already gonna be a 15 to 20 minute video because I've been recording for like an hour. So anyways, I'm just gonna wrap up this episode 1 of Let's Chat About Spell Work, whatever the title TBD, and let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on all these subjects. Do you utilize any of this stuff in your practice? If you have any additional tips and tricks, I am so here to learn alongside you. I think it's so important for us to really share ideas with each other. And let me know what you think about this new series as well. I think I already have ideas of what I would like to talk about for episode 2, but I kind of like just getting on camera and just rambling about whatever I want to ramble about, and you know, hopefully something good comes out of it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when I watch back this footage if any of it's usable, because I don't know, whatever. I've been rambling, but thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you for watching this video. And Alvine Green does something really fun on her videos. She does a tag word. By the way, if you don't know who Alvine Green is, she's fabulous. Look her up. She has a great YouTube channel, but she does this thing on her YouTube videos where she does a tag word at the end, and I've done this on a couple of my videos as well. But let's do a tag word. If you have watched this entire video up until this point, if you have listened to me ramble on and on about random things, let's use the code word vortex. So if you want to type in vortex in the comments below and just kind of let me know who's still sticking around at this point, I would appreciate it. It means more than you know. Even if I'm not able to respond to all the comments, I read all of them. So anyways, I love y'all. Thank you for being here with me. I'll see you in a video very soon. Bye.